One of the most important responsibilities of a parent is to protect their child at all cost. And one of the biggest fears of a parent is having their child kidnapped and locked up. But what if the child is locked up by her very own mother? Today, we will dive into the story of Blanche Monnier and her horrible imprisonment at the hands of her very own mother. Blanche was born on March 1, 1849, to Émile and Louise Monnier, in Poitiers, France. The Monniers were of noble origins. The family was very well respected in the community, and Blanche was a French socialite growing up. The young Monnier was renowned for her beauty. She attracted many suitors, looking to marry her. Although she had many potential men to choose from, she decided she wanted to marry a poor lawyer, whom she met in 1874. Unfortunately, this was unacceptable to her mother. Being a family of aristocrats, she objected to the marriage, and forbade her daughter from ever seeing this man. But being a 25-year-old in love, Blanche didn't take to her mother's decision willingly. She was going to rebel against her mother. Louise Monnier feared that her daughter might run away with the lawyer. She locked Blanche in a tiny, dark room in the attic of their home. And there, she stayed for 25 years. During the initial period of Blanche's confinement, her mother and her brother, Marcel, whom was also living in the same house, told everyone that Blanche had died. 25 years later, on May 23, 1901, a mysterious letter was sent to the Paris Attorney General. A part of the letter writes,
"I have the honor to inform you of an exceptionally serious occurrence. I speak of a spinster who is locked up in Madame Monnier's house, half-starved, and living on a putrid litter for the past 25 years, in a word, in her own filth."
It was believed the sender was a neighbor of the Monnier, and through the years, heard and saw Blanche's imprisonment from their home. With this information, the police went over to the house and conducted a search. They forced their way into the house, and made their way to the attic. Once inside the dark attic, they removed the curtains to let in some light. The police were horrified by what was in there.
"We immediately gave the order to open the casement window. This was done with great difficulty, for the old dark-colored curtains fell down in a heavy shower of dust. To open the shutters, it was necessary to remove them from their right hinges. As soon as light entered the room, we noticed, in the back, lying on a bed, her head and body covered by a repulsively filthy blanket, a woman identified as Mademoiselle Blanche Monnier. The unfortunate woman was lying completely naked on a rotten straw mattress. All around her was formed a sort of crust made from excrement, fragments of meat, vegetables, fish, and rotten bread. We also saw oyster shells and bugs running across Mademoiselle Monnier's bed. The air was so unbreathable, the odor given off by the room was so rank, that it was impossible for us to stay any longer to proceed with our investigation." The terrified Blanche, now only weighing 25 kilos, was quickly wrapped in a blanket and rushed to the Hôtel Dieu hospital in Paris, where doctors initially thought that she would die. At the hospital, workers noted that Blanche took great pleasure at being washed and able to breathe clean air. Blanche's mother was found sitting calmly in the living room during the search. The police questioned her and Marcel. They were later arrested. When interrogated by police, Madame Monnier and her son claimed Blanche brought this all upon herself. They stated that they were trying to protect Blanche, because she was a woman with violent tendencies, and a mentally ill woman. Madame Monnier was immediately placed in the infirmary. She died 15 days later from heart disease. On the other hand, Marcel stood trial alone, accused of being his mother's accomplice. He was found guilty and sentenced to 15 months in prison. Marcel immediately appealed the verdict, and in a judgment announced on November 20, 1901, the Court of Appeal found that he had exercised no violence on the woman, and hence, he was acquitted and released from jail. Although Blanche did put on some weight over time, she never regained her sanity, and suffered from several health issues brought about during her captivity. She also never got the chance to see the man whom she wanted to marry, for he died unexpectedly in 1885. In 1913, Blanche Monnier died in a Blois psychiatric hospital, 12 years after she was discovered captive in her room.